Here's what Neville said, and this really got to me. He said, 1 in a million. Now, there's 300 million people in America. That means 300 people know this. All the rest don't get it. That's what he said. Only, and he literally was speaking 1 in a million. That when you want to understand something mentally, you contemplate it. You cogitate on it. You think about it. You compare it. You analyze it. The first 4 letters of analyze. You're anal, right? You do all of this stuff. You contemplate, you think about it. When you want to understand something intellectually and mentally, you contemplate it. When you want to understand something spiritually, you must become it. You must become it. And that's where we're going now. Now, what you have to do, this is what Neville said, and what I'm saying to you, is you take in your imagination what you would like to create for yourself, and you assume the feeling of the wish fulfilled. You assume the feeling of the wish fulfilled. Memorize it. I have. I can say it. I say it 1,000 times a day to myself. Assume the feeling. Relationships, sickness, my work, my children, how I relate in my life, assume the feeling of the wish fulfilled. What is your wish? It's whatever you have in your imagination. How do you assume the feeling of the wish fulfilled? You must become it. And to understand something spiritually, you can't just contemplate it. You now must become it. In your mind, in your imagination, you must become it. As you become it, now you have, here's the difficulty. Where do you place your attention on what it is that you are wishing for yourself in your imagination? There are 2 kinds of attention. The first is called objective attention. So you have a wish, you have a desire, you want to lose the weight, you want to overcome the addiction, you want to create, manifest abundance into your life, you want to get the job, whatever it is. You have the freedom to think it, to imagine it, right? You can think it. You're allowed to think it. Nobody can take that away from you. Now you assume the feeling of that wish fulfilled. What does that feel like inside of your body? What does it feel like? And ultimately, now you have to decide, where am I going to place my attention on what it is that I intend to manifest or what I want to create for myself? If you use subjective attention, what you do is you allow anything outside of yourself. Like somebody says, oh, well, you got a really bad speech impediment. You know, I can't even understand you. Or somebody makes fun of you. Or it doesn't work for you. And immediately you allow your attention to go off of what it is that you are using your imagination to create. And the minute that you do that, you've lost it. The other is called objective attention. And this is, you never allow anyone or anything, no matter what comes your way, to take you away from your wish, your vision. It's yours. Nobody gets to say, that's just a crock of shit. They can say that all they want to, and you immediately go to the feeling, you've assumed the feeling of the wish fulfilled. You are not thinking about having that job, or about being free of your addiction, or about losing the weight. You've already lost it. It's in your mind. That's your imagination. This is how manifestation takes place. And so everybody that says anything to you, hey, Chubby, how you doing today? Or, hey, you're still poor, or whatever it is, you instantly go to, I feel great. I feel terrific. This is mine. You don't get any piece of it. You can't have it. It's mine. Okay? Now, when you do that, what happens is you put into play what's called the subconscious mind. Your subconscious mind is going to do something for you. It's going to harden or start the process of hardening a thought into form. It starts there. That's how you get form out of thought, through this subconscious mind, which can't distinguish whether you're just thinking it and then feeling it. Change your concept of yourself by creating an idea in your mind that you can identify with it until you become it. So, a radical change of your concept of yourself, and get a picture in your mind of what you want to attract that is so strong that you become it. You become it in your mind, okay? You know a thing, I said this earlier, you know a thing mentally by thinking about it. You know a thing spiritually by becoming it. You are now it, and you are operating from that perspective.
Right now, in this very moment, you have the power to change your entire life. You have within you the ability to transform your thoughts, your feelings, and your reality simply by changing the words you speak to yourself each morning. Those first moments when you wake up, when your mind is fresh and open, when the day stretches before you like a blank canvas, these are the most important moments of your entire day. Your thoughts create your reality. This is not some mystical concept or wishful thinking. This is the fundamental truth of how life works. Every single thing that happens to you begins first as a thought in your mind. Every success, every failure, every relationship, every opportunity, it all starts with the conversations you have with yourself. Most people wake up and immediately begin the same old mental patterns. They think about their problems, their fears, their limitations. They tell themselves stories about why they can't have what they want, why things are difficult, why life is hard. And then they wonder why their days feel heavy, why their lives seem stuck in the same patterns, why they feel tired before they even begin. But you can be different. You can choose different thoughts. You can speak different words to yourself. You can create a different reality. When you wake up tomorrow morning, before you check your phone, before you think about your to-do list, before you let the world rush in with all its demands and distractions, take a moment to speak 7 simple lines to yourself. These are not just words. These are declarations. These are statements of truth about who you are and what you are capable of creating. The first line you must speak to yourself is this: I am enough, exactly as I am right now. Say it out loud. Feel the words in your mouth. Let them sink into your heart. You see, most of us have been programmed from childhood to believe that we need to be different, better, more than what we are to be worthy of love, success, and happiness. We carry around this story that we are somehow lacking, that we need to fix ourselves before we can have what we want. But this is a lie. You are enough right now. You have always been enough. You were born enough. Your worthiness is not something you need to earn or prove. It is your birthright. When you start your day by acknowledging your inherent worth, you set a foundation of self-acceptance that allows everything else in your life to flow more easily. The second line to speak to yourself each morning is, I choose love over fear in every situation today. This is perhaps the most powerful choice you can make. In every moment of every day, you have 2 basic options. You can choose thoughts that come from love, or you can choose thoughts that come from fear. Love thoughts expand you, inspire you, connect you to others, and open you to possibilities. Fear thoughts contract you, limit you, separate you from others, and close you off from opportunities. When you wake up and declare that you will choose love over fear, you are setting an intention for how you will respond to everything that comes your way. You are deciding in advance that you will look for the good, that you will see opportunities instead of obstacles, that you will respond with kindness instead of defensiveness, that you will trust instead of doubt. The third line is, everything I need is already within me. This statement recognizes a profound truth about human nature. You are not a victim of circumstances. You are not at the mercy of other people's decisions. You are not helpless. You have within you right now all the strength, wisdom, creativity, and love that you need to handle whatever life brings your way. Too often we look outside ourselves for answers, for validation, for permission to be who we want to be. We wait for the right opportunity, the right person, the right circumstances, but everything you need to create the life you want is already inside you. It has always been there. Your job is not to go out and find it somewhere else. Your job is to recognize it, nurture it, and express it. The fourth line to speak each morning is, I attract what I am, not what I want. This is a fundamental law of how life works. You don't attract what you want or what you think about occasionally. You attract what you are consistently being. If you want more love in your life, you must become more loving. If you want more abundance, you must cultivate an abundant mindset. If you want more peace, you must become more peaceful yourself. This puts the power entirely in your hands. Instead of trying to manipulate circumstances or convince other people to give you what you want, you focus on becoming the kind of person who naturally attracts those things. When you wake up and remind yourself that you attract what you are, you take responsibility for the energy you bring to the world. The fifth line is, I am grateful for this day and all its possibilities. Gratitude is not just a nice feeling. Gratitude is a creative force. When you begin your day in gratitude, you align yourself with the creative power of the universe. You open your mind to see opportunities that you would otherwise miss. You attract more experiences to be grateful for. But gratitude for this new day goes beyond just being thankful. It's about recognizing that this day is a gift. You have been given another 24 hours to create, to love, to grow, to contribute. This day has never existed before and will never exist again. It is completely unique, full of potential, waiting for you to bring your gifts to it. When you speak this line each morning, you shift from taking your days for granted to recognizing them as the precious opportunities they truly are. You move from a mindset of obligation to a mindset of possibility. The sixth line to declare each morning is, I release all need to control outcomes and trust in the process of life. This might be the most difficult line for many people because we have been taught that we must control everything to be safe and successful. We try to control other people, control circumstances, control outcomes. And when things don't go according to our plans, we feel frustrated, anxious, and defeated. But here's what I want you to understand. You are not in control of outcomes, and that's actually good news. You are in control of your thoughts, your words, your actions, your energy, your responses. You are in control of who you choose to be. But you cannot control how other people respond. You cannot control timing. You cannot control all the variables that affect outcomes. When you release the need to control outcomes, you free yourself from enormous amounts of stress and anxiety. You can put your energy into what you can control, being your best self, and trust that life will take care of the rest. This doesn't mean being passive. It means being actively engaged in doing your part while remaining unattached to specific results. The seventh and final line to speak to yourself each morning is, I am here to give my gifts to the world. You have something unique to offer. There has never been anyone exactly like you before, and there will never be anyone exactly like you again. You have a combination of experiences, perspectives, talents, and love that is completely original. But many people go through their entire lives without ever really giving their gifts. They get caught up in trying to be what others expect them to be, trying to fit in, trying to be safe. They hide their uniqueness instead of celebrating it. They keep their gifts locked away instead of sharing them freely. When you wake up and remind yourself that you are here to give your gifts to the world, you connect with your true purpose. You remember that your life is not just about getting things for yourself, it's about contributing something meaningful. It's about making a difference, however small it might seem. Now, you might be wondering why these 7 lines are so powerful. Why not just think positive thoughts occasionally throughout the day? Why not just try to be optimistic? The answer lies in understanding how your mind works. Your subconscious mind is like a garden. Whatever seeds you plant in it will grow. If you plant seeds of doubt, worry, and limitation, that's what will grow in your life. If you plant seeds of confidence, trust, and possibility, that's what will grow instead. But here's the key. Your subconscious mind is most receptive to new programming in those first moments after you wake up, before your conscious analytical mind takes over. In those first few minutes, you have direct access to your deeper mind. This is when you can most effectively plant new seeds. When you consistently speak these 7 lines to yourself each morning, you are programming your subconscious mind with empowering beliefs. You are literally rewiring your brain for success, happiness, and fulfillment. Over time, these statements become your automatic way of thinking. They become part of who you are. But let me be clear about something. This is not about positive thinking as a way to avoid reality or pretend that challenges don't exist. This is about choosing which reality you want to create. Challenges will still come. Difficulties will still arise. But when you start each day with these empowering statements, you approach challenges from a position of strength instead of weakness, from confidence instead of fear, from possibility instead of limitation. Let me share with you what happens when you make this a daily practice. First, you'll notice that your mood throughout the day becomes more stable. Instead of being at the mercy of external circumstances, you'll find that you maintain a sense of centeredness and peace, regardless of what's happening around you. Second, you'll start to notice opportunities that were always there but that you couldn't see before. When your mind is programmed with empowering beliefs, it becomes like a spotlight, illuminating possibilities and solutions that were hidden in the shadows of your limiting thoughts. Third, you'll find that your relationships improve. When you start your day by acknowledging your own worth and choosing love over fear, you naturally show up differently in your interactions with others. You'll be less defensive, more generous, more present. People will respond to this energy and want to be around you more. Fourth, you'll begin to trust yourself more. When you consistently remind yourself that everything you need is within you, you'll stop looking to others for validation and permission. You'll make decisions more quickly and confidently. You'll trust your instincts and follow your heart. Fifth, you'll experience more synchronicities and what some people call good luck. This isn't magic. It's simply that when you align your thoughts and energy with positive expectations, you become more aware of opportunities and more likely to take action when they appear. Now, I want to address the skeptics among you who might be thinking, this sounds too simple. How can just saying 7 lines change my life? And I understand your skepticism because we live in a culture that believes that change has to be complicated, difficult, and require enormous effort. But the truth is that the most powerful changes often come from the simplest practices. Think about it. What determines the direction of a massive ship? It's not the size of the ship or the power of the engine. It's a small rudder that can be moved by one person. Your thoughts are the rudder of your life. Small changes in your thinking can create massive changes in your experience. And the key is consistency. You can't speak these lines once or twice and expect your life to transform. You must make this a daily practice. Just like brushing your teeth or eating breakfast. You must commit to speaking these words to yourself every single morning, regardless of how you feel, regardless of what's happening in your life, regardless of whether you believe them at first. And that's important to understand. You don't have to believe these statements completely when you first start saying them. In fact, if your life has been challenging, you might resist them at first. Your mind might say, this is silly. This isn't true. I'm not enough. I can't trust life. That's normal. That's just your old programming trying to maintain control. But keep saying the lines anyway. Your subconscious mind doesn't distinguish between what's true and what's repeated. It simply accepts as reality whatever you consistently tell it. When you persistently speak these empowering statements, they gradually become your new truth, your new reality. Let me tell you about the science behind this. Neuroscientists have shown us that our brains are constantly rewiring themselves based on our thoughts and experiences. This is called neuroplasticity. Every time you think a thought, you strengthen the neural pathways associated with that thought. The more you repeat a thought pattern, the stronger and more automatic it becomes. This means that your habitual thoughts literally shape the structure of your brain. If you consistently think thoughts of limitation, fear, and inadequacy, you strengthen those neural pathways and make those thoughts more automatic. But if you consistently think thoughts of empowerment, love, and possibility, you strengthen different pathways and make those thoughts more automatic instead. The 7 lines I'm giving you are designed to create new neural pathways aligned with success, happiness, and fulfillment. Each morning when you speak these words, you are literally rewiring your brain for a better life. But beyond the neuroscience, there's something even more profound happening. When you speak these lines, you are connecting with a power greater than your individual self. You are aligning with the creative force of the universe. You are acknowledging that you are part of something magnificent, something purposeful, something loving. You see, most people live their lives as if they are separate from everyone and everything else. They believe they have to struggle and fight and compete to get what they need. They believe that resources are limited, that there's not enough to go around, that someone else's success diminishes their own possibilities. But when you speak these 7 lines each morning, you connect with a different understanding. You realize that you are not separate from the creative power of life. You are an expression of it. You are not competing for limited resources. You are connected to infinite abundance. You are not alone in your struggles. You are supported by the same intelligence that grows flowers and moves planets. This connection gives you access to wisdom, creativity, and solutions that your individual mind could never generate on its own. When you align with this greater power, you become a channel for miracles in your life and in the lives of those around you. Now, let me give you some practical guidance on how to make this work most effectively. First, choose a specific time each morning to speak these lines. I recommend doing this as soon as you wake up, before you get out of bed, before you check your phone, before you start thinking about your day. Make it the very first thing you do. Speak the lines out loud if possible. There's something powerful about hearing your own voice declare these truths. If you can't speak out loud because others are sleeping nearby, speak them silently but with intention and feeling. Don't rush through them. Take time with each line. Feel the meaning behind the words. Allow yourself to experience the truth of each statement, even if it's just for a moment. Second, write these lines down and keep them where you can see them. Put them on your bathroom mirror, in your car, on your computer. The more you see these words throughout your day, the more they will become part of your consciousness. Third, be patient with yourself. If you've been thinking limiting thoughts for years or decades, it's going to take time to establish new patterns. Don't expect overnight transformation, but do expect gradual, consistent improvement. Trust the process and stay committed to the practice. Fourth, notice what changes in your life as you continue this practice. Keep a journal if you're inclined to write. Pay attention to shifts in your mood, your relationships, your opportunities, your overall experience of life. Celebrate these changes, no matter how small they might seem. Let me also address what might happen when you first start doing this. You might experience resistance from your old way of thinking. You might have days when you forget to say the lines, or when you say them but don't feel them. You might even have days when your circumstances seem to contradict everything you're declaring. This is all normal and expected. Change is rarely a straight line upward. There will be ups and downs, progress and setbacks. The key is to keep returning to the practice. Keep speaking these lines, regardless of what's happening in your external world. Remember, you're not trying to use these statements to avoid problems or pretend that difficulties don't exist. You're using them to maintain your connection to your highest self, regardless of circumstances. You're choosing to respond to life from a place